when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. It's Monday, 6 May 2024. Yes, what a beautiful day. Just coming out of the weekend, and guess what? The beaches have been reopened, and I'm sure so many of you have enjoyed your wonderful weekend on the beach, and I'm waiting to hear what your weekend was like, how many of you went to the beach, and what it was like for you. Yes, we have a beautiful show for you guys this morning, and we're always so happy when you choose us here on the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kumbi, and I will be taking you through this morning's show. In the meantime, I'm going to hand you over to Biana with news in 90 seconds.
News in 90 seconds is brought to you by Standards, never beaten on quality and prices.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Monday, May 6, 2024. The woman whose body was found near a riverbank on Saturday morning was identified as Shellon Walters Joseph of Montgomery, Scarborough. Walters Joseph, 32, was found at Sawmill Trace, Mount St. George by passers-by. Police officers arrived on the scene and found Walters Joseph lying on her side in a semi-nude state with bruises to her face. Walters Joseph was pronounced dead on the scene, and her body was transported to the Scarborough General Hospital mortuary for an autopsy. Police are continuing investigations. A shooting incident occurred at Nines Bar in Windward Road, Speyside last Friday night, leaving 6 people shot. 2 individuals sustained serious injuries and remained hospitalized, while the remaining individuals were discharged from the Scarborough General Hospital after medical treatment. The situation continues to engage the attention of the police. The United National Congress urged Finance Minister Colin Imbert to disclose the identities of the investigators assigned to scrutinize issues surrounding the submission of the Auditor General's 2023 Public Financial Statement report to Parliament. Additionally, the party is demanding transparency regarding the selection criteria, terms of reference, and the financial burden borne by taxpayers for this investigation. Arapooch MP East Devendranath Tanku conveyed these demands during a UNC press conference yesterday. The request comes because of Imbert's successful motion in the House of Representatives on April 26 to extend deadlines for both the submission of public accounts to the Auditor General and subsequent to Parliament. Tanku criticized Imbert's lack of follow-through on his earlier remarks regarding the necessity of an investigation. He highlighted the absence of public announcements regarding the investigation commencement, the identification of investigators, a set timeline for report, and clear terms of reference. And that concludes your news in 90 seconds.
Life is good with Zero. Zero interest for 6 months. Zero down payments. Zero stress payment plan. That's right. With Standards, my terms, we are putting the power of zero in your hands. Now, you can get that new sectional, fridge, stove, or TV for zero down. Pay zero interest later and enjoy a zero stress payment plan plus quick approval within 48 hours. Standards, never beaten on quality and prices.
Thank you, Biana, there for our news in 90 seconds. And of course, disturbing news coming out there with that shooting incident taking place in Speyside. And of course, we will have a member of the TTPS this morning to bring us those updates, so we'll get some more information as the morning progresses. Right, I want to take some time out to say good morning to those of you who are on the live this morning, our loyal and faithful viewers who always send us love and support. I want to say good morning to you, Pearl Marie Baird, Auntie Dora Lyons, Brenda Campbell, Renrick Job, Curtis Stephen, Harry, Elsa Cruikshank, Julia Brown. Good morning to you guys, and thank you so much for always choosing the morning show on Tobago Updates Television and making us the #1 morning show in Trinidad and Tobago. It's always a pleasure to have you online, whether you're viewing us on our Facebook Live, on our YouTube Live, or on Amplia 102. And I want to say good morning to all our viewers who are viewing us in Trinidad and internationally from Australia, United States, England, Canada, wherever you are, and even in Africa, Jamaica, wherever you are this morning. Good morning to all of you, and thank you so much. And I want to wish you a very, very happy and productive week. All right, we're going to head on over to our birthday segment, And on screen and celebrating a birthday today is Joel Jack. Joel Jack is celebrating his birthday today, and we want to wish you a happy birthday, Mr. Jack. We do hope that you enjoy God's blessings upon your life and all the love that comes with celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday to you. Next is the man, Kern Cowan. Kern Cowan is a belated birthday. His birthday was yesterday, and so we want to wish you a happy belated birthday, a happy birthday to you. And as you enter into this week, we just hope that you enjoy your week and that you continue to walk in purpose and have a happy birthday. And finally, Joseph Frederick, also a belated birthday. Joseph Frederick celebrated his birthday as well yesterday. And we do want to wish you a happy birthday coming to you from all of us at the Tobago Updates Television family. We do hope that you have a wonderful time this week and that you enjoy all the blessings that come with a birthday. All right, it's a beautiful Monday morning here, and of course we're coming to you live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. And you might be wondering, who are we speaking with this morning? And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be having conversations with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service as they bring the updates to us and the uprise in crime in Tobago. We're speaking with Acting Inspector Kathleen Sterling of the TTPS. We're also speaking with Dr. Paul Crooks. He's a veterinarian, and we're talking about veterinarian impersonation this morning. And we round the conversations this morning by speaking with Petal Ann Roberts, Chief Management Accountant in the Tobago House of Assembly, and Keno Cox, Acting General Manager of Emerging Services and Innovation, TSTT. And we're talking about THA and the e-tender vendor sensitization event that is coming up this week. So we do hope that you stay with us to get all this information, all the details, as we bring them to light to you in this space. Of course, we always find it a pleasure and a privilege to be bringing information to you as it relates to things happening in and around the Tobago, things that affect and impact our daily lives. So we invite you to stay with us, as we go through these conversations with our guests this morning. And of course, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, and share the live. We'll be right back.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kambi, and we begin conversations this morning with Acting Inspector Caitlin Sterling of the TTPS as she brings this morning the crime updates or the activities happening around Tobago over the past week. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning, Adana, and good morning to Tobago and our listening viewers.
Right, so it seems as if the past week was very hot in Tobago. There were so many things taking place. You know, every time when I spin around your hair, you get a phone call or you get some update that something has happened in the past week. And so we want to get some information as to the exact happenings and what is the status of these things, because I know there were quite a few shootings. And so we want to talk about that as well as, you know, every other thing that has happened on the island.
So, Adana, yes, we found a body at Sawmill, Mountain George, over the weekend. And I want to say condolences to the family and loved ones of that victim. However, we still are awaiting the autopsy as a determination of what was the cause of death for that person. Also, we had a shooting at the Nines in Speyside where 6 persons were wounded and were hospitalized. There was some good news there. 4 persons were discharged, still 2 persons still at the hospital. Additionally, we had a shooting in Turtle Beach, where 1 person is at the hospital presently. We had a robbery at the Royal Castle. No one was injured in that robbery, but cash was missing and was stolen. So we see that we really have an upsurge in crime in Tobago and not just Trinidad. So it's Trinidad and Tobago. So this week, we really had a challenging week. The officers had a challenging week, but we are working feverishly. Investigation is taking place, and hopefully we'll have some detection of these offenses.
And so we have no information in terms of any type of suspects for any of these happenings?
Well, I wouldn't want to say this because the matter is under investigation, so we wouldn't want to put out that in the open space as yet. But investigation, there are leads, and we are working feverishly on those leads to solve these crimes.
Right. And you know that shooting in Speyside particularly has my interest this morning, because I'm thinking, unless there were multiple shooters, right? You're talking about 6 persons being injured and one bullet will not harm 6 persons simultaneously, right? So I'm trying to figure out, could you explain to us what in your view, what might have happened there? Obviously it might have either been more than one viewer, more than one shooter, or the machine they used to carry out the act.
Well, I don't know. It was a drive-by shooting, and persons just shoot indiscriminately. So the target who they were going from, they didn't study that they were other people or care that they were other people are wrong. So there were more than one shooter at that with that incident, but several wrongs were discharged. It would not have been one wrong to call all that injuries to persons. And That is saying a lot. So we ask, we out and we liming, and we're not aware of our surroundings. We know persons are involved in gang activities and crime, but yet we put ourselves in harm's way. So we asking persons, you must be aware of your surroundings. You are living in an area, you must know the persons who are who are involved in crime and criminality. So we must be aware, don't put ourselves in harm's way to get injured.
It's kind of, I mean, sometimes you might not even be in harm's way. You might just be an innocent bystander. I'm not sure what are the circumstances surrounding the shooting, of course, as the investigations are ongoing. But, it really is cause for concern, the fact that there are so many illegal or unauthorized weapons out there in the public space where people can access these things and commit these acts. And so it really is cause for concern. Yes, we have to protect and safeguard ourselves, but now it leaves us in a place of vulnerability. We are thinking now maybe somebody might start getting scared. They don't want to go anywhere because at any point in any time something can happen. So we're really hoping that we could have some measure of comfort and satisfaction where these crimes are happening. We had a good little a period where things were a little bit quiet, and now we're seeing this uprising again.
Yes, and just as in Trinidad, we have an upsurge in gang activity, and our intelligence are telling us we are having gang activity in Tobago. So we have persons fighting for turf, we have persons retaliating against one another, and because yes, we had a quiet period, but also we have random shootings taking place, right? The police is out there. We are acting on intelligence. We are out there. We are doing patrols. But we need the help. We need the help from our stakeholders, our people out there, because persons know who have the firearms out there. The police alone cannot police Tobago. So we need all the stakeholders. Give us the information where the guns are so that we could go get those guns and get it off the streets, because Tobago, we are changing, we are evolving, and we are no longer that we could just sit uncomfortable knowing what is happening and not assisting. We really, really need the help out there. Our parents with our young children, we need to talk to our children. We need to know our whereabouts of our children, what our children are doing. The police is there actively. We are going into the schools, we are talking. We have our youth clubs. We're trying to have these young men and women who are on the streets to get actively involved in our youth club, some positivity into their lives, but we cannot do it alone. So we're depending on the schools, we're depending on the church, we're depending on our parents. We know that parents know when our children start getting into trouble. We cannot wait until they actually out there doing the crime to engage the police. Engage the police early. Engage whoever you think that could help that child so that we could get them off of the streets and off from gang activities. So, we are appealing to our stakeholders out there. We all have to work together to create the safety and security in our Tobago space.
Right. I know you mentioned you need the help from the community, the church, and different stakeholders across the island to help to curb crime from as early as the youth. What type of programs or type of public education has the TTPS been doing in terms of going into communities, partnering with churches, partnering with different organizations to ensure that they can intercept or intercede on, where crime is concerned, where our young persons are concerned, because they are one of the most influential age groups. And so what has been happening there in terms of that type of relationship?
Yes, Arana. So we have the child protection unit, where we have a unit, they go into the schools and, they engage these children, they speak to them. We also have the police youth club. We are recruiting also persons to these clubs. So you see, we go out on the streets, persons on the block linemen, we engage them to come and join the police youth club. Also, we have the THA, who we have these courses in the community center. So we are asking persons to come off the streets and get involved in something productive so that they can make something of themselves. So we actively engage stakeholders, and the TTPS itself, we are out there, we are doing our town meetings, we are doing our block meetings, trying to talk to persons, educate them about gang activities and what the repercussions, what could happen, so that we could try and bring Tobago in a better place from where we are now.
Right, and I know you've been having community meetings. I've seen a few of the meetings within communities. What has the interaction or the response been like? Have people been responding? Have people been coming out? Have people been airing their views? How has it been with these community meetings?
Well, I don't know, as community meetings, you go out there and you invite persons, but we're not getting the numbers that we actually need. So we have to rethink our strategy and go to the people instead of they coming to us. So we want to go on the blocks and engage, because they are where all the young people are, and they're not coming to the community centers. So our intention is to go to these people and have conversation with them.
Right, so we're talking something maybe like a door-to-door. We're looking at like now.
Yes, well, we normally have our walkabouts. We on mostly afternoon hours, when we know persons are from school and from work, we do our walkabouts in each community, right? So Roxborough will have our own walkabouts, Shervan Police Station, and we engage persons, we pass on the information. So we've been active in that area.
And sometimes there are some sporting facilities around the island, like recreational fields, where young people, they utilize the field, whether they play football, whether they are part of a club or a group or whatever. But sometimes you might find the stragglers there. You might find some other people there who are either unsupervised, not participating in the event, and just there to make mischief. Is there going to be any kind of walkabout or patrol in those types of areas, those areas that are supposed to be protected, because we have vulnerable groups utilizing those spaces each afternoon?
Yes, because I know we have the football in the community. We have Mariah have a football league. We have Roxborough have a football league. A lot of those games play at the Police Youth Club, which is just opposite the police station. So we have our officers walking around, because what we find is a lot of these youths are smoking marijuana in the area of where school children supposed to be. So the police are there actively. We engage persons, we talk to persons, so that we wouldn't have these crimes happening at these games. I know we can do a lot better, but we out there and we working and we working. We cannot stop working.
That's right, because at the end of the day, what we really want is safe spaces for ourselves and our families to enjoy, parks, recreation grounds, and of course to live in a place where it is kind of comfortable for us, and not be scared to go out, not be scared to think, let me take my child to the park this weekend, because so many things are happening out there. So we really looking forward to seeing increased police presence and the conversations that are going on with the stakeholders in terms of partnership to ensure that programs are put in place, that programs are implemented, so that, of course, we can engage the young people in something that is more positive.
Yes, Alana, we're working feverishly on that. And, we are out there, we are doing the work, we really doing the work, but as we say, all of us have to do the work. And before I leave, Tobago is all of us, for all of us to enjoy, myself, excuse me, each one of us. So we have to work for us to remain this safe space in Tobago. I want to go out and feel safe. You want to go out and feel safe. So we all have to come with the information, give us anonymous, give us the information so that we could act on the information.
That's right. I'm speaking there to Acting Inspector Caitlin Sterling of the TTPS, bringing the crime updates of things happening in Tobago last week, and also talking about, some of the strategies in place to ensure that they curb crime here on the island of Tobago, so that I can enjoy outside, you can enjoy outside, our children can enjoy outside in safety, and that we can be together in a very safe, enjoyable, and comfortable space. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end this conversation this morning. But we continue on with guests in our studio this morning, and we ask that you stay with us. And while you stay with us, we invite you at this time to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Tipsy presents Sip and Paint, an expression of a mother's love. Join us at the Tropicist Beach Hotel, Sunday, May 12th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Guests are entitled to finger foods and wine. Full package painter tickets only $600. And if you just want to hang out, we've got you. Limers pay $450. You'll be entertained by a special sensational reggae artist, a live band, and come witness our bonfire. We've got loads of giveaways. We're catering to mom all evening. Sunday, May 12th, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Tropicus Beach Hotel. Come, sip and paint with Tipsy.
Deltec Distributors Weekend Special. Wings Friday, 3 pounds wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT. Soup Saturday, 2 pounds cube beef, 2 pounds cow heel, 2 pounds chicken foot, 2 pounds pigtail, or smoke bone. Special $150. Super Sunday, 3 pounds leg and thigh chicken, 3 pounds sliced pork, 3 pounds lamb slice, 3 pounds cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Agribusiness, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special.
Never ever worry. 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 For the many stages of your life, Tata Life.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Live more.
She ride the wave from jumping in range, 100 funny that she want your money mean. Don't need your love that can cost me 50. Like King Solomon, a bag a girl to me name. Every girl rock out, Lord, rock out. Me say hot girl understand your time to step out. Big bumper girl, your time to get scrub out. Hand on your knee, you treat a girl and your and every girl I get wild out tonight. Party in my out tonight. If she suck me a fine out tonight. I don't know what a wild out tonight. Out the blue light, yeah, try out the back.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
At JK Tech, we bring technology to your doorstep. From cutting-edge laptops to reliable printers, we've got it all. Nationwide delivery and a new website for easy online ordering. JK Tech is your one-stop shop for your electronics and computer needs. Carrying top brands such as Acer, Samsung, HP, and much more. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at JKTechTT or visit jktechtt.com. Quality tech is just a click away. JK Tech. Evaluate your shopping experience, your tech, your way. Call or WhatsApp 383-2651. Shop smart, shop JK Tech.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, Good morning, morning. Good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kambi, and we continue conversations this morning in studio with our guest. We're speaking with Dr. Paul Crooks, veterinarian, and we're talking about World Veterinarian Day, and we also have a very important topic. We're talking about impersonation of veterinarians. So we're going to have that conversation. Stay tuned because you want to hear what's happening. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Of course, a pleasure. And of course, we just celebrated World Veterinarian Day on April 27th. So what was that like in the Tobago space?
Well, it was, for me, as current president of the Trinidad and Tobago Vet Association, it was all about the entire fraternity. And the theme this year was veterinarians are essential health workers. We recognize that within the Trinidad and Tobago space, we are already recognized as essential, given the COVID experience.
Right.
And well, of course, we know vets are essential for food security.
That's right.
And we do importations, exportations, and as time is going on, for example, we had a disaster risk management workshop in December where we recognize that there are gaps. There are persons who own pet animals who would die for their animals. No exaggeration. Where we've seen in videos coming out of places with severe flooding and so on, you see people swimming in flood waters to pull their dogs out of the water. Or you've even seen videos of rescuers going in to try to recover a horse. The emotional bond between a person and his pet, or whatever relationship they may have, that emotional bond is incredibly important. And in our policies regarding emergencies, that was not taken into account. So in a hurricane, people were instructed to leave their pets at home and come to the shelter themselves. But if people come to the shelter themselves without leaving their pets at home, they might as well die in some cases. So those persons may stay at home and choose to stay in a higher risk situation for
because of
themselves
that emotional connection.
That's right, because they refuse to abandon their animals. So this is something that we now recognize is also important. So if you consider that aspect, so aside from food security, that also makes vets essential. But furthermore, the breadth of the training that veterinarians have, I compare it to graduating high school. When you finish vet school, it sort of feels like you can do whatever you want. You've learned public health, which is also very largely linked to human health. And of course, I push the One Health idea that human health, animal health, and environment health are all interlinked, and we should work together across the different spheres. So medical doctors, human doctors, zoologists, biologists, etc., work together, even economists, because we know that there are persons out there who are, let's say, hunting wildlife, and that may be something they learn traditionally and so on, and you might have a conservationist standpoint, like even with the killing of the sharks, who says, you shouldn't do that, just outright ban it. But then we have to try to understand the mental and financial well-being of the person who is hunting the sharks. Why is he or she doing this? And we know that recently with the shark attack, it was unfortunate. There were reprisal killings, I suppose, which is not okay. And we try to encourage people to think that animals, even though we may consume meat, animals, basically all of the meat we consume have animals that are sentient. They are aware. They can feel pain. So you should be mindful of that in the way that you deal with them. Even the way that they are killed should try to minimize the suffering that they endure. So all of this, we know that vets are essential. Trinidad and Tobago, we had COVID come up. Vets were called to give vaccines as part of their breadth of training. Vets were co-opted when there were the big vaccine drives at the start of the COVID vaccination period. So we know vets are essential here. And what we did in Trinidad and Tobago, we had our general meeting, our first general meeting for the year. And vets were asked to post on social media and share the hashtag vets are essential and get it trending and show that we support the veterinary colleagues in other countries where they are not recognized as essential.
Right. So, I mean, I want to go back a little bit to where you spoke about the animals are sensory, meaning that they feel pain and they are aware of what is happening around them. And now we're talking of course, we use animal meat for, in our diets, for our meals. And so now we have to consider how we dispose of their life before we consume the meat from the animals. That's very interesting. That's very, very interesting. And now, sometimes, I mean, is it that we supposed to be vegan now and not eat meat? Of course not. That's not what you're saying, right? What you're saying is just be very mindful. So what is your recommendation in terms of, preparing an animal to slaughter for meat, for use of meat?
Well, it depends on the animal, really. But basically, you have to think, because these animals, you cannot use any chemical restraints. So basically, you can't sedate or anesthetize, which means that you have to find a way to kill the animal without the animal suffering. One of the best ways to do it, which might sound very strange to say, is something called a captive bolt pistol, which is a type of a gun with a sort of mushroom-shaped prod at the tip that is meant to shoot through the forehead and down and destroy the brainstem immediately, so that the animal no longer feels any suffering. And that's one of the best ways to do it. But other animals like fish, for example, typically they have the equivalent of drowning or suffocation when they come out of water, which is probably not the best way to die. I don't know what the best way is.
I'm thinking.
Reptile type animals, cold-blooded animals, you can actually freeze them, and that's considered humane, because their body temperature drops according to the environmental temperature, and they enter a state of sort of hibernation, I guess. And as they freeze, as the temperature gets too low for them to survive, they are not conscious. So they are okay with that happening. But then you have to also consider other reasons you might not want to freeze an animal prior to processing for meat. Either way, it's a complex issue. But at the very least, while the animal is alive, that is why you should give it the best quality of life you can. And that's why there's been this growing push for organic rearing and giving the animals the opportunity to behave as they normally would. I mean, they have a short life. Let them enjoy it. And that's kind of the push now.
This conversation, I'm beginning to feel a little bit guilty this morning having this conversation. But very, very good information on some things that we should probably consider when we prepare our meats for consumption. I want to go now into the fraudulent behavior. You were talking about veterinarian fraud and impersonation, and it is alarming to me. I mean, fraud is a word we hear all the time. We know there is fraudulent behavior, but in terms of this type of practice, there are medical persons who act fraudulently and impersonate. I've seen so many documentaries and so many real life stories. But when we're talking about animals, I'm trying to figure out what is the benefit here in being and impersonating a veterinarian, and what kind of activities have been happening in our space, both Trinidad and Tobago, and specifically in the Tobago space.
Right. So the incentive is basically financial incentive. I want to say that basically is always what it boils down to. People want to make money, and they find ways to make money. I was talking to you during the break. There are some gaps in the legislation, and not just in the veterinary field, also in the dental area, medical area, pharmacy area. There are gaps. The legislation addresses the actions of the registered persons. We have a veterinary surgeons registration board where every vet that is legally practicing has been registered. And the board is empowered to take action against vets. However, if you are not a vet, so there's malpractice and unethical behavior by persons who are not registered to practice, and there's nothing that can be done from the board.
Because they're not registered.
Because they are not registered.
So the board only takes action on registered vets.
Can only take action.
So if I graduate from veterinary school and I'm a vet,
yes,
but I'm not registered, and there's some measure of malpractice, then I'm safe.
The board cannot take action against you. Now, officially, if you impersonate a vet, the board can, or the ministry, through the police, can act to charge, because impersonating a vet is illegal. However, that is where we have to come down to what does it mean to impersonate a vet. If you go by a client and the client assumes you are a vet, and the client says, hey, this is Dr. Crooks, come in, come, look, Dr. Crooks, he does give shots to all the dogs in the neighborhood, let him come and see your dog. So Dr. Crooks come in, you believe is Dr. Crooks. He never tells you he's Dr. Crooks. He never identifies himself as Dr. Crooks. So he didn't impersonate a vet. Because your friends say he's a vet, you believe it, and he comes in to give shots. So it makes sense that he's a vet, but he never identified himself as a vet. So
but he administers the shots.
Right, but is administering a shot something that is exclusive to the realm of the veterinarian? And that is not captured in the law, because we have veterinary paraprofessionals, for example, persons who may have worked with a vet for 5 years, 10 years, the equivalent of a nurse sometimes, or we have people who assistants in the field, and these persons may have observed or even been asked by the vet to assist in certain ways, that they now take those skills and say, let me try and apply it outside. And they acquire medications, even in some cases stealing from the veterinarian. This has happened before, and sometimes even students may steal medication and go and administer medication or perform surgery on their own. And again, like, what's the level of supervision there? Yes, we know that a vet is supposed to supervise a student administering, but is a Zoom call equivalent to supervision? Is that good enough? If a veterinarian is absent from a clinic, and this has happened, is absent from a clinic, a student shows up, he's in his final year. The student shows up to the clinic, and the student is identified by the receptionist as a vet, never identifies himself as a vet, goes into the surgery room to try to correct a surgery that went wrong because a non-vet performed the surgery. I'm telling you, this is how complex the cases can get. A student goes in to perform or to correct a surgery, again, never identifies himself as a student. Is that person impersonating a veterinarian? If the vet says, pull up over the phone, says, pull up this medication and that medication and give it this 5 milliliters of that and 10 ml and hook it up on IV fluids and run it at this rate, is that person impersonating a vet? And that's where we get into the what does the law state? And unfortunately, the law doesn't really state anything in that regard. So it means that we're in a position where, how do we say what it is a vet is supposed to do? And then when we can define that, now where's the action? How can we take action against this person? And even the police don't know how to react. If you say, look, I know a man who's not a vet giving shots, they say, okay, well, what do you want us to do with that?
Right, and you know, that is scary, because when you think about it now in human medicine and human practice, I mean, that is very, 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 very cause for concern and very scary to think about. I mean, we're not supposed to take any living form for granted. And we're not supposed to think of ourselves higher than anyone. So if this is happening to animals, I'm equating it to happening to human beings. Because can you imagine walking into a practice and somebody saying, oh, look, Dr. So-and-so, when in fact, what Dr. So-and-so is really somebody who was, let's say, the office admin. But because he's been there for 20 years and he's seen the doctor doing all of these things, yeah, I can do this or I can do that. That's very scary. And, you know, I'm hoping that some sort of, something can be put in place. As you said, the law has to be amended, you know, has to be reconsidered again, and changes have to be put in place to regulate it. I would love to see how this rolls out and what adjustments they make and how they define the practice of a vet. Because, I mean, this is some scary, scary things that we're talking about. You mentioned earlier the relationships that people have with their pets, and so, you know, should something go awry when we have these impersonations, people can be sued. And if I'm not a real vet and I don't have any backing and I don't, how am I as the pet owner going to recoup anything from, this type of behavior? Interesting conversation coming here this morning. We're talking to Dr. Paul Crooks about, of course, impersonation. He's the president of the Veterinary Association of Trinidad and Tobago, bringing some information here in terms of how do we prepare animals for meat, for consumption of meat. And of course, this is a very important matter of impersonation. We don't want to be in a position where we, as human beings, fall victim to a medical practitioner being impersonated and administering any type of medication or any type of procedure to us. So let us be aware. And if you see something, of course, say something.
Please
If you know, as you said, somebody would say in the neighborhood, this man give shots to all the dogs, let's take our dogs there. Let's not do that. Let's do our due diligence and all the research that we have to do. In closing, is there anything else you want to share with our viewers?
Yeah, if viewers are curious as to whether or not the person you believe is a vet is actually registered with the Veterinary Surgeon Registration Board, send us an email at TTVA, Trinidad and Tobago Vet Association 2008 at gmail.com. Send us TTVA 2008 at gmail.com. Send us the name, send us information, whatever information you have, and we can find out for you, certainly.
And is there, as you mentioned, that the registration, is it public that, let's say, for instance, I want to take my pets to a vet, I can look it up before to verify that this person is registered?
Sort of. So officially, when vets are registered, the names are published in the Gazette, which is our national newspaper, basically of record, whenever laws are assented and important regulatory work is done. However, the team responsible, even the Vet Surgeon Registration Board, is such a small team that to try to get an updated list has been very difficult. So you can email us and we'll confirm, but finding a registered list online is difficult. We're trying to work on that.
Got you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Dr. Paul Crooks, president of the Trinidad and Tobago Veterinary Association. Remember, if you want to get some further information or you have information, you can email them at ttva2008@gmail.com. Thank you so much for staying with us up until this point. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio with our guests. And as we go, of course, we invite you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back. Thank you. Yeah.
Tobago, baby. When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align to the stars up above. Let we dance now. Take a chance now with me. And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon don't sleeping. Tell them we not leaving. Till the last drop of bacchanal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I run in town again. Jump and shake the ground again. Live with all my friends and them. No place like home. Home. We go jump till the moon come down. It's we who the stars shine on. Play a mass and break away. Freedom in with DNA.
Deltec Distributors Weekend Special Wings Friday. 3 pounds wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT Soup Saturday. 2 pounds cube beef, 2 pounds cow heel, 2 pounds chicken foot, 2 pounds pigtail or smoke bone. Special $150. Super Sunday. 3 pounds leg and thigh chicken, 3 pounds sliced pork, 3 pounds lamb slice, 3 pounds cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Agribusiness, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Of your life, Tata Life.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Combi and we're now at 7:53 a.m. So if you're getting to work for 8 a.m., you should already be on the road. Remember to drive safely on our nation's roads as you drop the children off to school and get yourself to work. All right, we continue conversations this morning in studio and we're speaking this morning with Petalan Roberts, Chief Management Accountant in the Tobago House of Assembly, and also Keno Cox. He is the Acting General Manager of Emerging Services and Innovation at TSTT. This this morning, the conversation is about THA e-tender vendor sensitization event. And of course, when you hear the term E, you always think about something online. And of course, this is interesting this morning as we move ahead, as the world evolves. And of course, we're talking technology this morning. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Adana, and thank you. Good morning, Tobago.
Right, it's a pleasure to have you here this morning. We're talking about e-tender. We know what the tender process is. I know we've added an E in front of it. So tell us a little bit about what we can expect coming out of this initiative.
E-tender is a software as a service offered by TSTT that the THA has engaged TSTT to provide for Tobago. We are now going online with our tender process and the entire procurement process, as a matter of fact, from planning to the award of the contract. We are going to do contract management, where we review contracts to ensure that we are satisfied, where we do appraisals of our vendors. So tomorrow is where our vendors will be sensitized and familiarized. We have already trained our procurement professionals, our legal officers, administrative officers. So now it's the vendors' turn. They are critical stakeholder in the whole process, so we want vendors to come out and see what e-tender really is. We are just going electronic with our procurement processes.
Yes, of course, the sensitization is of course important because the vendors are the ones who will be using this platform. What was the idea or the vision behind bringing everything now online as opposed to in person or with the paper, the traditional way of doing things?
So I'll say in the 2023 budget statement of the Secretary of Finance, Trade and the Economy, he spoke about Tobago Online. It's where the THA wants to transform all its public service delivery into a digital ecosystem. So we're starting massive with e-tender. We're going to see in the future digitizing the accounting processes, digitizing our grants, digitizing the healthcare system, and therefore this is just the first of many for Tobago. I'll allow Mr. Cox to emphasize on why Tobago is going in this direction.
Well, first of all, before Mr. Cox comes on, I am happy to hear about the digitizing of the accounting process because, and I hope, of course, it reduces the time of the turnover, but we'll get to that at some other time. Mr. Cox, good morning, welcome. And of course, we're talking about a software now that has been developed to host this type of arrangement.
Yes, good morning, Dana. Welcome to all your viewers. I'm very pleased to be in Tobago. As Peter indicated, TSTT stands firm in our commitment to support the THA and Tobago in digitizing its operations. So e-tender is just one cog in a wider wheel that we are providing as a backbone ecosystem to Tobago. And it's simply, I always say, we need to get simple for each citizen in Tobago. You have a MSME or entrepreneur or big contractor can simply have an email coming to their phone with alerts on potential procurement in the whole sector. So it allows a seamless interaction digitally with everyone involved in procurement. And as we enter this space, you will see more and more services, as Peter indicated, going online, which we provide a backbone for.
Right, and you mentioned there's a sensitization event taking place tomorrow, but is there, further to that, is there going to be any training in terms of equipping the vendors to be prepared in terms of how they're going to receive the alerts, as you mentioned, Mr. Cox, and how they're going to respond in terms of submitting their tenders?
Yes, so tomorrow, in fact, it's really a sensitization, but also what we call a miniature training, but it's so simple, it's about 3 steps. You view, you register, and you download, so we're going to go through that tomorrow for the vendors. It's very simple and easy to use. But the power, the engine that comes behind it is really what allows that connectivity and that ease of use, yeah? But tomorrow we'll share more of that when you come in person.
No, you're saying it's easy. This is easy for the person who knows how to use it or who is familiar, who has been in this field. And I am all for advancements and innovation and, progress because, of course, we have to come into that age. That's where the world is going now. And, of course, it makes it easier. It's literally at your fingertips. So you can respond in real time and you can, you don't have to go through the whole lengthy process of the in-person submission, and so you have something right now at your fingertips. And I know you said that you're going to engage tomorrow in terms of giving them a measure of training. There are some people who need a little more training than others, so I'm just suggesting that we do, follow-ups and continuous training as we progress. And how in terms of the collaboration, how has it been in terms of the response from your stakeholders so far? Primarily your vendors. I know you sent out the invitations to vendors. How has it been? Has they been responding in a way? Do they have to register? What is the process in terms of being there tomorrow?
There is a registration process. However, I want to encourage our vendors to come out even if you have not registered. You know, registration is always to get a sense of the responses. We have had lots of questions. We have had positive RSVPs. So, yes, it has been positive, but we really want to tell our vendors, come out, whether or not you are registered. I just want to put a plug here and say that registration on the e-tender system, though, you must be OPR compliant. You must be a registered vendor with the OPR to do business with the Tobago House of Assembly. But if you have intentions, you have a business and you said, all right, I'm going to register with the OPR, you can still come out and see what e-tender is. I also want to say that tomorrow there will be a kiosk. There will be an actual, although we have demos and presentations, persons will have the opportunity to go live and see how they log in and see examples for themselves on how to get into the e-tender platform.
Right. So, you know, this is very interesting. And, you know, as I said, it's something that I welcome. So I'm hoping that the vendors will come out tomorrow. As you said, you had positive feedback in terms of the registration. And of course, tomorrow with the training, that means that the vendors will have a hands-on experience with how the platform works and how they can use it and, you know, ensure that they have all their submissions in as well. So I'm looking forward to that. And it's taking place tomorrow. Give us some more information, time, place, and the duration of the event.
It's tomorrow at the Shore Park main auditorium. The time is from 10 a.m. to 12. So it's a very short session, but it would be very effective, right? TSTT has provided all the resources. They brought on all the persons to do the training, the infrastructure. So we expect it to run smoothly. As you did say, training is a continuum. So although we're doing this now, there will be continuous training. As a matter of fact, when TSTT did this proposal, they intended it to be a train-the-trainer program. So we will have key persons in the procurement sphere to be trained. So even if TSTT is not in Tobago present, they don't have a physical presence, persons in procurement, persons like myself will be trained to give that kind of support to vendors going forward.
And of course, it's important to note that you, to participate, not in this event, it's open to all vendors. They can come and understand the platform and know how to engage with the platform. But for you to actually engage in business with the THA, you must be OPR registered. Yes, and of course, they have an office here in Tobago, so you can get more information from there. But we do encourage, you know, all our vendors to come out tomorrow and get the information, get the knowledge, because of course, you don't want to be left out when tenders are put out there. You want to get that alert, as Mr. Cox says. Yes. You get the alert on your mobile device or wherever you have your email registered. So we're looking forward to that tomorrow. In closing, is there anything else you want to share with our viewers?
Yes, there are certainly many benefits of this. Transparency, we're getting rid of data redundancy. In the THA, we have 11 accounting units. Oh, and e-tender is not only for the THA, it's for the special purpose companies and the TRHA as well. I forgot to say that. They are also part of the project. They will also go digital with their procurement because e-tender is deployed across 24 agencies, which are the divisions and the special purpose companies. So transparency, we're eliminating data redundancy. For instance, when we wanted to find out how many vendors we have in Tobago, we had to try to figure it out because every division may have a vendor. So that's around 11 of the divisions, but then you might have a vendor who is only doing business with one. So now e-tender will have, it's a one-stop shop to get all your procurement information. Your secretaries, administrators, all your stakeholders can now go online and see the status and the progress of all your procurement. As I said, this is one of many digital projects that we are doing in Tobago, and therefore I'm very excited. I'm excited for the THN and I'm excited for for the opportunities that vendors will have with e-tender.
Absolutely awesome there, getting that information. And of course, we're urging all our vendors to go out, or potential vendors, even if you're thinking about getting into business, now is a good time to be a part of this innovation happening there tomorrow at Shore Park from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. You know, if you have not yet registered, you can still do so. If not, even if you haven't registered, the invitation is there for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been speaking with Petal and Roberts and also Keno Cox as they bring information on the e-tender process that is going to take place within the THA and other agencies. This is where we end the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, but we don't end our programming here. We continue on with Tobago Notes and then on to GMT with Natalie Seeley Richardson. So stay with us, and as you stay with us, we invite you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Rock native Daniel Stewart, the owner of Frontline Flavors, is preserving Tobago's culinary traditions. Recently, she took her customers down memory lane with a Tobago fireside breakfast. Fire on top, fire below. Culinary traditions reflect the history, values, and beliefs of a community. According to Daniel, it's all about honoring our ancestors and the culinary legacy they have passed down through generations. Take a look at this video, which highlights it all. Recorded and edited by Melvern Isaac and produced by Industry Management.
Welcome to Frontline Flavors. This is a restaurant where we do mostly local cuisine. What we are doing today is doing a demonstration of how roast bake would have been done back in times of our ancestors, my grandparents. So in order to roast whatever meals they were preparing, they would have done it on the fireside, put it in the pot, and to trap the heat, they would have covered the pot, put the fire on top. Ducking of the bake is to allow the gases to escape so that you're not going to have a breath. So we're going to separate the coconut shell and the wood, so you're going to have less direct heat. If you leave it with too much heat, it's going to burn the outside and the inside is not going to be thick. What we realize at Frontline Flavors, our tradition is slowly dying. So this is one of the ways that we can ensure and preserve culture, making sure we continue this legacy. We are going to do the actual eating with butter, and I must say the first piece.
Well, I'm really impressed because I think it is so important to really, experience and also appreciate the cultural traditions.
One of the highlights is fire on top, the fire below. I really enjoy looking at that.
No place like home, home, home.
Oh, I love Tobago, baby.
When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align to the stars up above. Let we dance now, take a chance now with me. And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon gone sleeping. Tell them we not leaving. Till the last drop of bacchanal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I'm running tongue again. Jump and shake the ground again. We're with all my friends and them. No place like home, home, home. star shine on. Play a mass and break away. Freedom in with DNA.
It's only when I go abroad and I see what is out there and I come back and I measure against what is here. There is no comparison to beauty.
In some writings of our history, it is said that Christopher Columbus called it Bella Fauna, meaning beautifully formed.
Natural, beautiful, peaceful. Yes, I get emotional. That's why I'm here.
One of the fascinating things about nature, there is always something new, and especially in the tropics where there's such wide diversity, persons can experience and have the awe associated with some of the beaches we have, aquatic life we have, some of the fascinating birds we have within a day, within a short period of time.
You have the Caribbean Sea on one side, you have the Atlantic Ocean on the other side. On our doorstep, a fringe reef that wraps around the entire area. You have this huge amount of biodiversity and liveliness of the entire water that surrounds the island. We also do bioluminescence.
It's a different thing down there, and we about to drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there, down in Tobago.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Na, 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 na. Good morning, Tobago. Na, 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 na. Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we're stronger. Good morning, Tobago.
You are viewing GMT, and of course, you know that stands for Good Morning Tobago. It's Monday morning, and we continue to have interesting conversations with interesting guests this morning. I am Natalie Seeley Richardson, and before we go to our guest in studio this morning, we get ready for news in 90 seconds.
News in 90 seconds is brought to you by Standards, never beaten on quality and prices.
The woman whose body was found near a riverbank on Saturday morning was identified as Shallon Walters Joseph of Mount Marie, Scarborough, Tobago. Walters Joseph, 32, was found at Sawmill Trace, Mount St. George by passers-by. Police officers arrived on the scene and found Walters Joseph lying on her side in a semi-nude state with bruises to her face. Walters Joseph was pronounced dead on the scene, and her body was transported to the Scarborough General Hospital mortuary for an autopsy. Police are continuing investigations. A shooting incident occurred at the Nines Bar in Windward Road, Speyside last Friday evening, leaving 6 people wounded. 2 individuals sustained serious injuries and remain hospitalized, while the remaining individuals were discharged from the Scarborough General Hospital after medical treatment. The situation continues to engage the attention of police. The United National Congress urged Finance Minister Imbert to disclose the identities of the investigation assigned the investigators assigned to scrutinize issues surrounding the submission of the Auditor General's 2023 Public Financial Statements report to Parliament. Additionally, the party is demanding transparency regarding the selection criteria, terms of reference, and the financial burden borne by taxpayers for this investigation. Oropouche East MP Tanku conveyed these demands during a UNC press conference yesterday. The request comes because of Imber's successful motion in the House of Representatives on April 26 to extend deadlines for both the submission of public accounts to the Auditor General and the subsequent report to Parliament. Tanku criticized Imber's lack of follow-through on his earlier remarks regarding the necessity of an investigation. He highlighted the absence of public announcements regarding the investigators' commencement, the identification of investigators, a set timeline for the report, and clear terms of reference. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Life is good with Zero. Zero interest for 6 months. Zero down payments. Zero stress payment plan. That's right. With Standards My Terms, we are putting the power of zero in your hands. Now, you can get that new sectional, fridge, stove, or TV for zero down. Pay zero interest later and enjoy a zero stress payment plan plus quick approval within 48 hours. Standards. Never beaten on quality and prices.
Welcome back, viewers, and sitting with me in studio this beautiful Monday morning is none other than Councillor Tasha Grace Boris, and we know her as our Secretary of Culture, Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. Good morning, Secretary.
Good morning, how are you? And good morning to your viewers.
Yes, and of course, you know, we want to start off looking at the tourism aspect of your portfolio. And one of the things we hear a lot from people on the street, you know, the secretary is always out of the country. She's traveling. What is that doing for us in Tobago?
Right.
So I want us to start off looking at one of your most recent trips. I know you were in Grenada recently.
Yes.
So tell us about that trip.
So about 2 weeks ago, I led a delegation to the Caribbean Tourism Organization's Tourism Sustainability Conference. So this was the first time that the conference has been held since COVID. The last one was held in 2019.
Right.
And the idea is that the Caribbean has positioned itself as a tourism destination that focuses on sustainability. So it was held in Grenada, one of the countries that I think champions sustainability in a very real way, because they just celebrated the opening of one of the most exclusive eco-luxury sustainable tourism brands. They welcomed that to Grenada and they opened like a week before the conference. So the idea of the conference was to bring together all of the practitioners in the sector, all of the persons who have inputs, whether they be agricultural people, fisheries, ancillary service providers from across the region. And the focus is how can we create a tourism product that is not only resilient but sustainable as well.
Right.
When you look at the tourism sector, it's a mass market kind of very consumer driven model, and what you have in many instances is a product that, although there's a lot of demand for the product itself, you may find that when you go to restaurants, for example, or when you go to hotels, for example, there's a lot of wastage.
Right.
There's a lot of, you know, you spend a lot of money on things that end up in landfills or they end up in places that harm the environment.
Right.
So the focus of the conference was really to get to the place where disaster, we really, the tourism sector, how are we beefing up our resilience in those areas? How are we building the capacity of our suppliers to be able to supply us? So in case we cannot import stuff, that we can get it homegrown, or picking homegrown first, which is actually the best option. So,
and though you would have hinted on the meaning of sustainability, when you talk about tourism, kind of narrow that down for us so we understand exactly what we're speaking about. So
when you look at the tourism product and what we call sustainability, it's really crafting a product, and let me just kind of segue a little bit. We like to say sustainable tourism, but what I more focus in is what we look at and call responsible tourism, because the idea of responsible tourism is we are creating an environment that is okay for our citizens who live here first before we invite people home. Yeah, and that is the responsible way of doing tourism, because you can't invite people to your house and the people in your house are uncomfortable. You can't invite people home by you to feed them and the people home by you are starving. So in a case of Tobago, it's really how do we, the tourism product can't be here and the people of Tobago here.
Right.
You know, what we do in the tourism space needs to benefit first and foremost the people that live here. So for me, that product does not look like a mass market tourism product that other destinations are known for. It's not my viewpoint that we should try to compete with a Jamaica in terms of having all these all-inclusive hotels, because one of the biggest criticisms that people level against the all-inclusive model is that it excludes locals. You know?
And that is so true, because one of my experiences would be Jamaica, staying at an all-inclusive hotel, and for the 4 or 5 days our group did not leave the hotel.
Because everything is there.
Yeah, I mean, you had intentions of going to do this, go to the caves, and especially if you've kind of done it before, you know, you're kind of boxed in, because in our mind as a consumer, look, I paid for everything.
Yes, so you want
that
to
is here, so I am
everything.
Exactly.
So it becomes almost like, you know, as you said, you think about the fact that you paid all this money to enjoy this experience, so that the local content or the local producers don't really get a bite of that cherry. For me, Tobago is well positioned to be a champion of community-based tourism, and the type of tourism that encourages people to come and stay where the locals stay, eat where the locals eat, hang out where the locals hang out. One of the things that I feel is a huge plus for us as a destination is that the majority of our accommodations are owned by locals, so that you have this assurance as a visitor that the money that you spend is going directly into the pockets of someone who lives here, who is hiring people who live here, who is shopping at all of the supermarkets and all of the different stores that are owned by locals, and that the money circulates in the economy at a greater level versus destinations where you have a number of international brands and there's a lot of foreign exchange leakage. So that for me, I see in terms of mass market for us really being that domestic market, because by numbers Trinidad is our largest market. 1.4 million people right next door, 20 minutes away by plane, 2.5 hours away by boat. So we know that at the end of the week, we expect this influx of persons from Trinidad who have fallen in love with Tobago, and they're always here. And we have to craft products for them, and then we have an international market that is largely seasonal in its behavior, because during winter, which is November to April, you have the influx of tourists coming in from the colder destinations, UK, Germany. And they come and they go to the local establishments, and Castara is one of our flag bearers in terms of that community tourism model that works. So we already have examples of what works for us. And for me, sustainability is really a model that ensures that all of the benefits of the things stay with the local people where it resides. And in Tobago, we are poised to create a model that is one that works for us locals first. In terms of what we're looking at, and maybe this might be a good segue to talk about international hotel developments. We do have the public consultation coming up for the Marriott at Rocky Point, and that takes place this Thursday at Buku Integrated Complex. Buku Community Center maybe. But it takes place in Buku. So this is a project that was announced back in 2021. It's a project that this administration inherited. And, you know, we took a tour with the Chief Secretary and the area rep and a number of other officials from the Tobago House of Assembly, as well as officials from Superior Hotels, which is the developer of the project. We went to the site, we spoke to the surfers, we spoke to the environmentalists. There was some agreement on some of the things that we wanted to preserve, because there's evidence of some historical ruins there, and we wanted them to incorporate that into their plans. So now they're at this stage where they're doing their environmental impact assessment for their application for their CEC to go ahead with the project. And I will encourage everybody who is available to attend that consultation.
And that's this Thursday?
That is this Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Because, you know, it's important for locals to have a say. Now, these are developers, they're from Trinidad naturally. The project is under E-Tech, so this is not a Tobago house.
Because that was my next question, because I know when we talk about hotel development, people coming into Tobago, you know, sometimes people get very defensive or they don't understand. So it will be an excellent opportunity for you to be present on Thursday. Many times these things happen and we all find our voice after the fact. So let's be proactive, and let your voice be heard.
And that is why I'm making mention of it, because people have to feel as if they're part of the process. And that is one of the things that we want to encourage. We want to encourage people to come out and ask your questions. what are the impacts of this project? What are the environmental impacts? What are the social impacts? What are your policies on hiring? Who are the people who are going to be part of this project in the construction phase? How many jobs are going to be guaranteed for members of the local population? How many jobs are going to be guaranteed after the hotel is constructed and people have to be employed? You know, what is your policy on corporate social responsibility? You're coming into a community. How do you see this project impacting the community, and how do you think that you can form partnerships with local organizations, local NGOs, cultural groups, sports groups, youth groups? How do you see you not just coming into a space and just having a business, but rather integrating yourself into the Tobago space and becoming one of our champions and one of our partners? So I think this is a very perfect opportunity for persons to be part of the process, to get an understanding of how hotel developments work. Because when people say, oh, bring back a certain hotel, it's almost like they feel you could go in a store and pick it up and bring it back, but it doesn't work like that. You know, when hotel developments are being built in destinations, there are several things that go into that decision. And one of the key things that go into that decision is airlift. Right? Yes. We have the terminal being constructed right now, and when that is finished, Tobago will now be in a position to welcome expanded airlift to the destination. The question is, how are our locals getting ready for those opportunities? So that I anticipate that within the next 2 years, we're going to have an explosion of tourism-based businesses on the island, because now we have all of the ingredients coming together all at the same time. We have the airlift that is going to be expanded when the terminal is finished. We're going to have this hotel development that is going to construction phase, with the hope that they will be open maybe in the next 3 years or so. We have, I mentioned in an earlier interview that in terms of cruise shipping, most of our ships come from Puerto Rico. They're doing a massive redevelopment at the Puerto Rico cruise ship terminal, and in 2 years' time they will be back open and taking the volume of ships. So in about 2 years' time, Tobago is poised to see an explosion on all fronts, whether it be airlift, whether it be domestic, whether it be international, whether it be cruise. So we have 2 years to get ourselves ready. We have 2 years to access funding. If it's one thing that we have in this space is liquidity. And one of the conversations that came out of one of my international engagements is with two local institutions, a bank and another government agency. How are we building entrepreneurs in the tourism sector?
And I'm glad you're going there, because though we may have the physical infrastructure, you know, let's talk about the human resources, because I mean, you can have the best airport, you can have the best hotel, but if the people are not warm, if they're not friendly, if they are not customer service oriented, what happens to the entire product?
Well, it's more than that, you know. I mean, sitting two plus years in the chair, I recognize it's not really even a customer service issue per se, because I always use the harvest example as for anybody when they talk about, you know, like Tobagonians. I say, you ever come to Tobago for harvest, you will roll out of the community when you're done, because every house that you go to, they're only asking you, you're okay, you want something more to eat, you want something to do. So we know how it is to be welcoming. We know how it is to make people you know, feel like they're having the best experience in the world. So that's not far removed from who we are. It's just that we have to be able to translate that into the experience that we provide for the visitor. So I want to explode it from service to experience. The idea is that your interaction with any visitor to the space. And sometimes we have this cultural misnomer in our minds that a visitor or tourist is only someone who's a little lighter skinned than we are. But a visitor could come from anywhere. And what you find is that in destinations like Tobago, we attract a lot of visitors who look like us. The only time that you know that they're not from here is when you hear the accent. But the reality is that visitors come from all over the world, and they hear different things about Tobago. And in most of my interactions, in fact 99% of my interactions with people, when I say I'm from Tobago, they instantly light up, because what they've heard of Tobago or what they've personally experienced about Tobago has been excellent for them. Yes, so that is a lot of the feedback that I've been getting. So that for me, I guess we have to get to the place where we understand that you are responsible for someone's experience on this destination. When they walk away from you, do you want to leave them with a good experience or a bad experience?
Yes.
You have the power to either make this person's day or to make this person say, I'm never coming back to this destination. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that everything is great. I have gotten complaints about people who have received exceptionally terrible service in places. But they are willing, in my mind, to give the destination a second chance if it is that somebody says, look, I'm so sorry for your experience.
Correct.
We want to make this up to you. And it's not about being subservient. People, I think there's also this cultural view that, you know, being in the tourism sector means that you're subservient to somebody. And it's not about being subservient. I think that being in the tourism sector and making people happy is actually one of the best experiences that you could have. Because even if you're having a bad day, I have seen people turn around people's days with just a smile, just a, how are you going? Look, we have this activity going on down the road. Would you be interested in that?
And that's the power of who we are as a people. Because even, you know, going back, because I've seen reviews as well where, you know, the person may not feel very comfortable in maybe the hotel they selected, etc. But because of that interaction with that staff, and they say it, you know, I met person X and because of this person I would return.
And that is why Castara is doing so well. It's not rocket science. We've been doing it for a long time. Castara is doing well because somebody comes to Castara as a visitor and they leave like as family. Because everybody, once they see a new face, they're interested in you. Hey, you're staying by so-and-so? Yeah, that's a good thing. Come and have dinner. Come and have drinks. And you feel like if you're part of the community. I've heard of people who have come to Castara religiously over the last 20 years. It's the place that they vacation. So that, you know, we are blessed with so many things. I mean, I'm not sure if we understand exactly how blessed we are. Because of Tobago's geographic position, we are not a destination that I think worries too much about bad weather or hurricanes during hurricane season. There are other destinations that actually have to make plans for things like that because they know they will get hit.
It's coming.
They know that they're in that path. So that if they have a year when nothing happens, they say, thank God. But they have to also plan for the next year because they know eventually something would happen. But we are positioned in such a way that it's not too much of a thought in our mind. Now, yes, we are supposed to have the plans, but really we have been so blessed. You know, the last time that we had a really adverse incident was Ivan back in 2004. We've had some bad weather in between, but you know, nothing really that we weren't able to get over. And we have to understand that we have to use our blessings as our advantage.
Most definitely. And viewers, we take a quick break, and when we return, we talk about Heritage Festival 2024.
Rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the sky.
Deltec Distributors Weekend Special Wings Friday. 3 pounds wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT. Soup Saturday. 2 pounds cube beef, 2 pounds cow heel, 2 pounds chicken foot, 2 pounds pigtail, or smoked bone. Special $150. Super Sunday. 3 pounds leg and thigh chicken, 3 pounds sliced pork, 3 pounds lamb slice, 3 pounds cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Agribusiness, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. To them once again, they better look out below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look out below. 'cause this is your show. More, live more. Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Na, 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 na. Good morning, Tobago. Na, 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 na. Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion starter.
Welcome back, viewers, and thank you for staying with GMT this morning. It is Monday, and I hope you have started off marvelously. We know sometimes we get Monday morning blues, right?
Yes,
but we are alive. As I always say, it's a blessing to wake up on this side. So let's embrace it. Life is not always perfect, but it's what you make out of it. So we continue our conversation with Councillor Boris. And we're switching gears. We spoke a lot about tourism on the island in terms of what it means to be sustainable tourism. But I want us to look at one of the signature events coming out of Tobago, and that is Tobago's Heritage Festival. Many people have an expectation of what this looks like, whether it's because of what they heard or those of us who have been going year in, year out.
Year in, year out.
What can we look forward to for this year's festival?
So let me start off by being very honest.
Yes.
When I got into this chair and we came out of COVID, you know, we tried several things. We tried to infuse maybe some new ideas. We tried different combinations of people around the table in the planning. You know, some things went very successfully and some other things not so much. But everything, I think, is an opportunity for us to learn more about each other. So coming out of last year and the year before, I asked the team that is tasked with planning the festival to let us expand our horizons a little bit. Let's see how we can chart the evolution of the festival whilst remaining authentic.
Right.
Because the idea is that you don't want to lose the essence of why the festivals was created in the first place. And I get the feeling sometimes that we're kind of moving away from what the festival was created to achieve in its early days. And this idea that we have to modernize things, but not modernizing things with the idea of maintaining authenticity.
Right.
So the idea is we want to evolve, but we want to always maintain that authenticity. So I've tasked them with coming up with a month of activities, right? Because the idea is to proclaim July as Tobago Heritage Month, to celebrate everything Tobago, everything that is part of our history, everything that is part of our culture, everything that makes us who we are. And not just having 2 weeks or 10 days of activities, which are very production heavy, because I call it production heavy because when you look at the schedule, you literally go from production to production to production to production. And I feel like if in terms of the audience, you may lose part of your audience, which might be younger people, because they may pick and choose what productions to go to. But they may miss out on things because why? It's not packaged in a way that will engage them or keep their attention or keep them contributing. And night after night, in terms of production, also gets one kind of weary as well, because the productions go to a particular length. So some productions are like 2 hours, some are like 4 hours and plus.
And I don't know, I think you're reading my mind this morning because I'm listening and I'm thinking, you know, even for our children, because I would like to take, you know, my children to a production, but because of the duration of it at nights, I mean, you know, whether it's on the cusp of vacation or whatever, you know, how can we engage the younger ones in getting them prepared that this is your heritage? How are you going to be a part of it?
So that is what we were thinking about in terms of ensuring that the activities were able to attract a wide cross-section of people. You are able to take your very young children and have them immersed in an activity that will keep them occupied, that will teach them about themselves. And then you have the other productions that are more geared towards an older crowd who could sit for a little bit longer hours. They might have a little bit of PG-13 kind of jokes in there.
That's
so they might have some content. They might have some content that might not be so suitable for children of a younger age, and being very mindful of the product that we are putting out. So the task was, as I said, to have this month of activities, but to craft activities that we can have that wide cross-section of participation. So what I've seen so far in the draft has really got me excited, because some communities that have not been on the calendar for a while have returned, and I'm excited. At the time when we will make the announcement, I would be excited to announce which communities they are. And they have been known for some stellar contributions in the past. In addition to that, we have added some activities that we felt needed some public and private sector partnerships to pull off. So I insisted to them, look, this is not just about the Tobago Festivals Commission producing the Heritage Festival, but how are we incorporating our partners? How are we involving the divisions of the THA in activities? How are we including the private sector in activities? So what you have is like this robust calendar of activities that people could literally you can create your own heritage experience based on what we have. So we have exhibitions planned. We have, I think, a film festival is included in there. We have some heritage tours that would take people around the island. We have the usual suspects in terms of what people look forward to every year, the Natural Treasures Day, the Old Time Wedding, the Old Time Carnival, and we have some new additions, as I said, you know, and we have the Heritage Symposium as well that interrogates the academic aspects of our history and our culture. So it really, to me, presents a very robust opportunity for persons to kind of deep dive into what it means for me to be a Tobagonian. It really is an opportunity for us to hold a mirror up to you and to show you who you are and rekindle those relationships and rekindle those friendships. Heritage Time is a time that a lot of persons from the diaspora also come back home, you know, and they're a huge market for us. And we don't just want them to come back home and participate in the festival, but part of the conversations that are going to be happening when they get here is, how are you guys integrating yourselves better into what is happening on the island? We're not just talking about a heritage festival, but we feel like if our diaspora market is a market that we have not been paying a lot of attention to. We have a lot of Tobagonians outside of Tobago doing great things. And we want to be able to give them an opportunity to give back, to highlight their achievements, to celebrate them, to rekindle those family ties, because a lot of us are related on this space, and you only know when you're related when a funeral happens or a wedding happens or somebody born.
And then you hear, I didn't know.
Exactly. So Heritage Festival presents an opportunity for us to really build out that family tree that exists in the Tobago space. And there are other things that we would like to do coming out of the festival, which would be year-round activities, because we also do not want people to think that heritage is only a conversation that comes up in July. There are other things that we have in train. They're going to take a little bit longer to come to fruition. But one of the visions that we have is something like a permanent heritage village, so that it doesn't matter when somebody visits the island, they can go to a space where they can get all of that immersion, that live and that flavor. And so that we feel that those are that's one of the competitive advantages that we have.
Because when you look at when the cruise season is as well, the cruise ship season, you know, oftentimes I'm in Scarborough and you see bewilderment. Because sometimes you see people looking for things to do. So outside of the grand welcome that some of them may experience upon immediate arrival, you know, you just see them take that walk down to Coast Guard Corner and they walk back up. Sometimes you see them standing. Sometimes I might engage one or two of them, you know, just ask if they're looking for something in particular. I might say, oh, you can go here or there. You know, how do you now ensure that something like this is really implemented and for the benefit of, as you said, the people who are going to visit this island outside of July? Because I think the heritage product is awesome to offer. You know, so how do you really get this set up and get us who live here to buy in that this is not just July. We are not just a people July to celebrate who we are, but let's expose how we live.
Yeah, because I think one of our challenges is that, and it has actually been told to us, they say Tobago has the product. That's what they say. Tobago wants for nothing in terms of experiences, in terms of places to go, in terms of attraction, in terms of engaging someone, in terms of holding their attention for 8 hours or 2 weeks, whatever it is. It's just how we package that product. And now one of the things that we have to do is really get down, and this is getting down into helping persons to craft that product, and the importance of partnerships. I think one of the challenges we have is that a lot of people feel that they go fast when they go alone, but you go fast when you go together.
Right.
So that when you have cruise ships coming, I could tell you what they look for. We have one main ground tour handling company that has been offering, you know, the same packages for a number of years. And the cruise ships are saying that they want more variety because Tobago is largely a very undiscovered destination for them. And more cruise ships are expecting interest in coming because they've done all of the other destinations. So they're always looking for new ports to come to. And there are different types of ships where people are willing to pay different amounts of money for whatever their experience is. You'll have the people who are looking for budget experiences, and you have the people who are looking for ultra premium experiences. And when they look at what we have, our nature, when you talk about our entire ecotourism product, from our marine space and beaches to waterfalls, to hiking trails, to bird watching, to Tobago Island and whatever, we are an ecotourist paradise. When you talk about culture, you can spend all day and not even scratch the surface of what culture looks like. If you take somebody to help bake dirt oven bread, or you get them to do an immersive experience where it's fire on top and fire below with the bake and the saltfish and the cocoa tea, where you talk about teaching them to dance the cocoa one and squeeze the batimil and these things.
And as you mentioned earlier, the experience, that is what, because you get the Jamaican experience, you get the Barbados experience, and you
don't get the Tobago experience, and this is what they're looking for. I think that we have this assumption that maybe tourists want to come and all they want to do is sit on the beach. If we are the fourth destination on the itinerary, or the fifth destination, they've done beaches three times before. So when they come to your destination, they really want to feel like if they visited the destination. And the things that we take for granted, that we probably think that they are not interested in doing, they pay premium for these things.
Most definitely.
You know, so even that roast fish and that roast breadfruit on the beach, they will pay premium for that, because why? They don't get to do it home.
And they go back home and they go back home. That's what they talk about.
Well, we ate this roasted fish, and they dig this hole on the beach and put in the coals, and we roasted our fish. I was able to pick my fish out of this tank, and I get to season my fish. These are the things that people want to experience. And I'm saying we have the product already. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's just about how do we organize the business side of selling the product. And that there's a huge gap that we have identified. And as I said, we're working with those two partners. One is a financial institution, and the other one is a government agency, to how we can get people into the mindset of the business of tourism. Because as I said, we have the talent, we have the product. It's just for us to now provide the training and to hone and mentor these persons who are coming into the space, whether they are doing packages for tours, whether they are offering the products just for sale for anybody who is passing, to get them to understand what is your market, how to target your market, how to set up your business model, how to set up your finances, you know, how to look at how you sell, your selling techniques, how do you brand and market yourself. These are things that are critical. So as I said, we have the product. We have the most important thing, which is the foundation. All we have to do is build the capacity, and it is my dream and my hope, and I'm running headfirst into trying to achieve that, in us getting at least 100 more tourism-based businesses started on the island by the time my stint is up, whenever that is up. Because if we're not having the tourism product being owned by locals, it means that this is money that is leaving the island and going elsewhere and building other places. We need to ensure that the money stays here and builds our people here, builds our systems here, builds the island. That is the only way I think that we can really become competitive. But is the framework really being set up? Because, I mean, from where you sit, you would have the plans and you meet with your committees, but really on the ground. And that is what I recognized, because, you know, I had this assumption when I came into the chair that, oh, there's technical people in the division, you know, there's systems there and there's policies there. But you know, it has been difficult from that end in terms of finding the right kind of people, because we have a challenge with technical competence for the tourism sector. We have had our conversations with our partners in the Ministry of Tourism Jamaica, and we're in the process of crafting an MOU with them that will result in training and internship opportunities being offered to students who have studied tourism management, so that we're not just taking you out of school with a bachelor's degree degree and throwing you into the sector as if you're a technocrat.
Right.
You're going to the place where tourism was born in the Caribbean.
Right.
And they are going to expose you to a very mature tourism system that doesn't exist here just yet. But you're going to get that experience. You're going to be sharpening iron, and you're going to come back home and be able to contribute in a very robust way. But we also recognize that, you know, even though from a technical place there is need to have that, that's not going to work if it is that the product on the ground, the people who are there, the people who are actually doing the thing. Because I'm not selling coconut water. I'm not working in a hotel. The people working in the division of tourism are not selling coconut water. They're not working in a hotel. The people on the ground have to be the one who know. They are the ones who have to have an understanding of the product. They have to have an understanding of who they're tailoring their products to suit. And once they are okay, then all of the other things will come. So while we're trying to fix what is happening in the space from a very technical, high-level place, we also have to pay a great deal of attention to what is happening on the ground and building the capacity of the people who are the inputs. If they walk away from the sector in the morning, there is no sector. There'll still be a division, but there'll be no sector. So they are our reason for being. So we have to see about them first. And that is going to be a focus over the next couple of months, really building the capacity of our locals and building the capacity of our communities to contribute to the success of this sector.
And that's very important. And I want to thank you for your time this morning. I always am aware of how busy everyone is, and I would only imagine the schedule that you have. So thank you so much for sitting with me and having a chat with our viewers. And just to recap, I want to remind us that Thursday it's important for you to be a part of that process. The secretary informed us it's going to be in Buku. And of course, if you stay tuned to the divisions page, you would find out exactly where it's being held, and it's 5:30 p.m. So be a part of that. Let your voice be heard. Come with your questions. Ask them. Don't just sit and then complain at the end. Tobago belongs to us, and let us have that voice. All right. So let's remember that. So as we continue this morning, we have another guest, Mr. Ricardo Alfred, and we'll be talking about what's happening at TADCO. So stay tuned, viewers. We go for a break, and we'll be right back.
I say, thanks for favor. So wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never.
Tipsy presents Sip and Paint, an expression of a mother's love. Join us at the Tropicist Beach Hotel, Sunday, May 12th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Guests are entitled to finger foods and wine. Full package painter tickets only $600. And if you just want to hang out, we've got you. Limers pay $450. You'll be entertained by a special sensational reggae artist, a live band, and come witness our bonfire. We've got loads of giveaways. We're catering to mom all evening. Sunday, May 12th, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Tropicist Beach Hotel. Come, sip and paint with Tipsy.
She ride the wave, come jump in the range, and jump funny dance, much your money mean. Don't need your love, that I cost me for pay. Like King Solomon, a bag a girl to me name. Every girl rock out, Lord, rock out. Me say hot girl, understand your time to step out. Big bumper girl, your time to get scrub out. Hand on your knee, you treat a girl and your body. And every girl get wild out tonight. Party in my out tonight. If she suck me, a fine out tonight. I don't know what a wild out tonight. Out the blue light, I try out the back.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Na, 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 na. Good morning, Tobago. Na, 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 na. Let's go.
Welcome back, viewers. Sitting with me now is Mr. Ricardo Alfred, chairman of TADCO. For those of you who aren't familiar with that acronym, it's the Tobago Agribusiness Development Company. Good morning, Mr. Alfred.
Hi, good morning, and good morning to Tobago.
All right, so I want us to start just talking generally in terms of the facilities that TADCO provides for our farmers on the island, or maybe anyone else.
Right, so TADCO is a company that offers a lot of value-added systems and a lot of products on the island as well. So we offer cold storage space. We are the largest cold storage space on the island, and we offer things like ice, the tube ice, the party ice.
Right.
We do also offer things like the dry storage space and the cold storage space for persons and vendors and those type of persons. So we do offer quite a range of products, and then with the introduction back into the system, the Capital of Paradise, we do offer from time to time the bycatch, which is sold to the processors and persons who would want to buy fish.
Right. So is it safe to say really you serve the farming community on the island mainly?
We serve the farming community, yes, but I would say mainly we serve a lot of the business sector as relates to persons like Bermudas, West Indian traders, the hardware that is on the compound in terms of our tenants.
Okay.
In terms of the revenue coming into TADCO.
Okay. And I want us to get, of course, many of our viewers would have seen reports going out in terms of a concern with farmers saying that a lot of their meats were spoiled because of a failure of one of the services you provide. Can you just shed more light on that for us so we can be clear?
Right. So what is happening is that the compound is an aged compound. Because of one of our system that is done is something called a blast freezer. So what happens, we allow persons will bring in their goods and meat at a warm temperature or chill temperature, and then it blast freeze, and then it goes back into storage. That is the issue that we have in our cold storage units. Maintain at a -10, -12, 14 degrees in terms of keeping that storage temperature, but it must be blast freeze before going into that storage space.
Storage.
Yes, and that is the issue there because of the.
So the issue is with the blast
freezer.
Okay.
The issue that we're having is not that because of the new procurement system, we cannot just choose a recommended person. We have to go through a procurement procedure, which you have to get the quotes and get the scope of work and that type of thing, which it's going to take some time. So that was done, and the system will be up and running by Friday. Well, I'm told Thursday, but I want to say Friday, just to be safe. And definitely we're going to be continuing with our freezing services. What we do ask the public to do is that if they are involved in slaughtering animals, and we would have sent out a press release, letting persons know that please come into us, let us know that you want to slaughter some animals, and that we can make some preparation for you. We do
so I want to make sure we understand the process. So the meat should be blast freeze before it goes into that additional, long-term storage area.
When you put that temperature in there, it's going to affect the other temperatures inside the room. It's going to drop and then it's cause some issues.
Right. So in the absence of that, what was being done?
So in absence of that, well, we have to go through the procurement procedure. So in order to avoid issues, we're asking persons to wait until we sort out our issue with the blast freezer. This is a compressor is normally between $200,000 and $9,000. So it's not something that you want to buy and put down,
Right.
So, and then we have to go through that procurement procedure. It's an aged facility, and we have to follow the new.
Of course. So is it that with the blast freezer being down, you weren't accepting meat from farmers now for that cold storage?
Yes.
Okay, and there are reports, and I want you to clarify that farmers are saying their meats have been spoiled because of TADCO, as they would have said, and they are saying that somebody needs to be responsible. TADCO needs to be responsible for that. So is it that farmers lost,
I am not aware of any spoilage of any meat. That report never came to me. I can't comment on what was said in the media. I know the only thing that I know on Friday is that we had no water on the compound, and persons we had to send home the staff because, for sanitary reasons. As relates to if TADCO is at fault for some issue with meat, we would definitely have a conversation. What I must say is that there are some persons that we would have had a conversation with, in which we would have told them, listen, our system are down, but we can try to assist you. But however, that is on your liability. We have persons signing to that,
Okay.
So I don't want to comment on what persons say. I wasn't really there, and I don't want to comment on what.
All right. So with the blast freezer failing, you are saying that those who may have still opted to go with the service, knowing that they were informed that the blast freezer is down,
yes,
and that they were at their own risk in storage there.
Some persons would have signed to that.
Okay.
Because we do try to assist them. And that is the aim of it, really. So that during this period of the blast freezer being done, we are definitely putting some measures in place to assist some persons.
Right.
But it is recommended that they wait until we get that service up and running. However, if they do wish, it is at their
right, they're at their own risk.
Yes.
They will be a part of this process. So, and it's always important to hear the other side of this story, and that's why it's so important for us as people around to pay attention, not to different media houses, hear what's going on before we jump. Now, I am also just staying abreast of what's going on, and we would have heard so far from another media house that the farmers are irate, and maybe some of them are. And we now understand what has happened at TADCO. So, Mr. Alfred, we would stay tuned. We do hope that the facility gets fixed so that you can continue to provide that service to those on the island who would want it.
Yes.
And in moving forward, you mentioned a lot of the services that TADCO provides for those of us who are here. For somebody who may not have heard about TADCO, because we have viewers who are coming in sometimes for the very first time looking at Tobago updates or just new to the space of Tobago and never heard about TADCO. If it is that they want to avail of your services, find out more, where can they access that information?
Right, so we are working on a promotional video as relates to all the services that we offered. That will come out very soon. However, persons can choose to come down to TADCO office, or they can call 639-4017. in which they can speak to our friendly staff, and they would also give a list of services. And at the end of this thing, what persons have to understand is that we have to follow the new procurement procedure. In the past, we would have had suppliers and service contracts.
It got it fixed in a very short time.
And it is a case where we are utilizing public funds, and we cannot, we can't do business as normal.
Right.
Persons, new suppliers don't have to be registered OPR and that type of thing.
Right.
The code scope of it is a process that persons have to understand. It's not my doing, it's just how they...
Right.
This is just the new law, actually.
Right, that's the system that everybody has to fall under. All right, so I just want to thank you that you would have made some time for us this morning, shed a little light on exactly what's going on at TADCO. So for those of you who avail of the services there and you need cold storage, the blast freezer is down. It should be up and running, hopefully, according to Mr. Alfred, as he has been told, by Friday, Thursday, maybe Friday. And so stay tuned. And if you do still need to avail of the cold storage facility, remember you are doing that at your own risk, but you can engage the TADCO staff for further information.
No, but we have persons who have their items in the cold storage are fine, huh?
Yes,
it's not
yes.
the cold room, that's the blast freezer.
Right, it's down, yes,
okay.
right? But as you would explain, the process is it needs the blast first before it goes into. All right, so we want to thank you so much for shedding some light on that current situation, and we do trust that everything works out so that persons who are in need of that service can avail of it. All right, so viewers, we go for a quick break, and when I come back, we wrap up.
It's a brand new morning, rise up. Never ever worry. Never ever worry. Never ever worry. Never ever worry. Never ever worry.
For the many stages of your your life. Tata Life.
Alright viewers, that's all the time we have together this morning. It's always a pleasure when I can spend my mornings with you. I am Natalie Seeley Richardson, and remember all that we discussed. We spoke about tourism, you know, what it means to us, how can we get involved. Tobago belongs to us. Let's represent proud and let us continue to encourage each other. So when you see, you know, we have tourists around, you may see them look confused. Just ask if they need help. Be that friendly face for them. Those of you who are in this sector and you've been working hard, thank you for always making our guests, our visitors feel so welcomed, and continue to do what you do and encourage others to be a part of this process. So I just want to remind you again, the consultation is going to be taking place with Superior Hotels, and that is the new hotel development that is under the management, or I should say the project management of E-Tech through central government. So you definitely want to be a part of that on Thursday. Go and let your voice be heard. I cannot stress that enough. And for those of you who are maybe not yet at work, you should be, I suspect. All right, but thank you for listening. Thank you for staying with me. And until another morning, let's stay blessed.